Imagine for a second that we are compressing the entire history of Homo sapiens, all 300,000 years of it, into a single 24-hour day. For about 23 hours and 40 minutes, humans lived in small groups, hunting, gathering, and whispering to the spirits of the trees and the wind. Then, suddenly, in the final few minutes of that day, everything changes. Between 800 and 200 BCE, a massive explosion of thought happens. Across the globe, from the dusty roads of Greece to the banks of the Ganges and the courts of China, the world's most influential religions and philosophies suddenly appear, as if someone flipped a cosmic switch. Why then? Why did it take us 297,000 years to figure out the concepts of the soul, heaven, karma, or the golden rule? And why on earth did they all appear at the exact same time, in places that had never even heard of each other? Today, we aren't just talking about faith. We're looking at the greatest architectural upgrade of the human mind. And the answer isn't just in the heavens. It's in our trash, our wars, and our growing cities. To understand this, we have to talk about a guy named Karl Jaspers. In 1949, he looked at history and saw a pivot point he called the Axial Age. Picture the world 2,500 years ago. In China, Confucius and Laozi are teaching about social harmony and the Tao. In India, Siddhartha Gautama is leaving his palace to become the Buddha, while the authors of the Upanishads are redefining the self. In Persia, Zoroaster is preaching about the eternal battle between light and dark. In Israel, prophets like Isaiah are turning a tribal deity into a universal god of justice. And in Greece, Socrates and Plato are questioning everything. These people were thousands of miles apart. They didn't have Zoom calls or trade routes that carried philosophical PDFs, yet they were all asking the same questions. Why do we suffer? How should we treat a stranger? What is the good life? It's one of the most mysterious coincidences in history, but as we're about to see, it wasn't a coincidence at all. It was a survival mechanism for a world that was becoming too big for its own good. Let's go back further, about 10,000 years before this spiritual explosion. This is where the big gods theory comes in, a concept popularized by psychologist Ara Norenzayan. For most of human history, we lived in groups of about 150 people. This is called Dunbar's number. In a group that small, you don't need a judge or a divine commandment to keep people honest. Everyone knows everyone. If you steal my spear, the whole tribe knows you're a jerk, and you're probably gonna get kicked out or worse. Your reputation is your social credit score. The gods of these small tribes were usually small too, local spirits or ancestors who cared about whether you respected a certain tree, but didn't really care about your internal morality. But then, the Neolithic Revolution happened. We started farming. Surplus food led to population explosions. Suddenly, we weren't living with 150 friends. We were living with 10,000 strangers in the first cities like Uruk or Mohenjo-Daro. How do you stop someone from cheating a stranger in a marketplace when they'll never see them again? The social eyes of the tribe were gone. We needed a bigger set of eyes. We needed big gods. This transition from small spirits to moralizing high gods is the secret sauce of the Axial Age. Data from hundreds of societies shows a consistent pattern. As societies get more complex, their gods get more concerned with human behavior. Think about it. If you believe there is a God who can see into your very heart, someone who watches you even when you're alone in a dark room, you're much more likely to play fair with a stranger. It's like a cosmic CCTV camera. This allowed us to build empires and trade networks that stretched across continents. But the Axial Age took this a step further. It wasn't just about obeying anymore, it was about internalizing. This is the moment religion shifted from being a series of rituals, I give the gods a goat, they give me rain, to being about character. It became about the inner self. This was the birth of the individual. For the first time, you weren't just a member of a tribe, you were a soul with a moral choice. But there's a technological side to this story that people often miss: the spread of writing. Before this, religions were oral. Stories were told around fires, and they changed every time someone forgot a detail. But during the Axial Age, writing became accessible to more than just a few elite priests. We started freezing our ideas. When you write a philosophy down on a scroll, it becomes a portable, unchangeable authority. Yuval Noah Harari points out that this codification is what allowed these ideas to survive while others vanished. You can't kill an idea if it's written in 1,000 different places. This led to what we call religions of the book. It allowed a follower of the Buddha in Sri Lanka to follow the same rules as a monk in Tibet. It allowed the Hebrew Bible to maintain its core message even when the Jewish people were exiled to Babylon. Writing turned local myths into universal laws. It was the first information revolution, and it was the engine that drove these new religions to the ends of the earth. We also have to talk about the trauma. The Axial Age wasn't a peaceful time of meditation, it was a bloodbath. China was in the Warring States period, a time of constant, brutal civil war. The Middle East was being torn apart by the Assyrians and Persians. India was undergoing a massive urban shift that broke the old caste systems. People were suffering on a scale they had never seen before. The old tribal gods, gods who were supposed to protect your city, had failed. When your city is burned to the ground, you need a religion that explains why bad things happen to good people. You need a faith that isn't tied to a specific piece of land or a specific temple. The Axial Age religions provided a universal answer. They told people that this world is temporary, that suffering has a purpose, and that justice will be served in the afterlife or the next incarnation. They moved the Holy Land from a physical place to the human heart. This made religion portable and resilient against the collapse of empires. So, why did they all happen at the same time? Because the world reached a critical mass of complexity. 5 different civilizations, Greece, Israel, Persia, India, and China, all hit the same wall at the same time. They were all struggling with the same issues: massive urbanization, the rise of the stranger, the invention of coins and commerce, and the brutality of large-scale Iron Age warfare. They didn't need to talk to each other to find the same solution. It's like how different species of birds all evolved wings to solve the problem of flight. Humanity evolved these religions to solve the problem of living together in large numbers. It was a convergence of social evolution. We moved from us versus them tribalism toward the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you isn't just a nice sentiment. It's a social operating system that allows a city of 1 million people to function without constant violence. Next time you hear a moral teaching that feels universal, be honest, be kind, look inward. Remember that you're hearing a 2,500-year-old echo. These religions didn't just appear. They were forged in the fire of human crisis. They are the tools we built to bridge the gap between our hunter-gatherer brains and our high-tech, crowded reality. We are still using the same spiritual software today because the problem we face is still the same. How do we live with people we don't know? How do we find meaning in a chaotic world? We might have better phones and faster cars, but at our core, we are still Axial Age humans, searching for the same balance that Confucius, the Buddha, and Socrates were looking for in the dust of the ancient world. Religion wasn't just a gift from the sky, it was the ultimate survival strategy for the human race. And that, my friends, is why the ancient world still lives inside you every single day.